Every avid angler has their favorite bait and tackle to throw, and now we're hanging out with Jeff Reynolds as he spills why the Secret Lures lead shaker is a tool he keeps rigged up in his boat 12 months out of the year.
When throwing a shaky head, I've always been one that thinks of it as like a finesse type deal until I seen this lead shaker. And the first time I threw it, I was like, man, this is just a whole different world to me. Now I can feel something now. I can feel everything I'm dragging it through. And there's so many different things you can do with it. Different kind of worms you can put it on, you know, an old monster, a Berkeley power worm, big Cinco type bait, smaller finesse worms, and the ways you use it, power fish it. I mean, I power fish with it. I don't just throw it out there and let it set on the bottom like you're dragging a Texas rig worm. I mean, I'm dragging it through stuff, through stumps, through brush piles, through rock points, everything. I'm moving it a lot. You know, one of the neatest things about this bait is the way it sets in the water. As you can see, that little concave spot in the head right there, that's what comes the name pivot divot head. But the way that bait sets, it's just like that. And in the water, that tail will be up there just wiggling around, and I mean, pretty much doing all the work. And when you drag it across the bottom, it's just bumping the bottom like that as it comes through. And them fish, I think a lot of them fish hear it hitting them rocks, kind of like crawdads will be clicking, you know. And then when they see it just floating up there, coming through there, and they will eat it. Fish catching machine. The line and the equipment that I use to fish this, I'm throwing 20-pound fluorocarbon, especially from the half ounce and up, half ounce and 3/4 ounce, I'm throwing 20-pound because I'm dragging it around some rough stuff. I don't want to throw super light stuff because this is a heavy head. It's going to stay on the bottom. That's what I want it to do. So I want to make sure I got a little bit bigger line. If you drop down to the 1/8 ounce or the 1/4 ounce tail shakers, I'll drop down in line because you don't want that line taken away from the action of a smaller bait and holding it up off bottom more. The biggest thing, you know, everybody always asks, what size line should I use? I like to use as big as I can get away with, but if you throw that bait out there and you can just feel your line that's just kind of not laying in the water good and you're not feeling your bait good, that's when you need to drop to a smaller line. You cannot get them in if you can't get them on. And a line will make a big difference on how a bait performs. Now this is how you rig it. It's got a screw lock up here. You just put it up there, screw it all the way to the head. When you get it up there, look and see kind of where the bottom of the hook is. That's roughly where you want to go in. I'm gonna go in right there, and I'm gonna slide it all the way down till it's straight. And I want that hook right on the outside edge where it don't have as much plastic to go through when you set the hook. You know, if you just take it like that and just barely stick it in, you've got that whole worm that you've got to penetrate to get it into that fish's mouth. If I pinch it up, stick it all the way in there right out to the edge, I can feel that hook right there. That's going to give you a better hookup. The lead shaker comes in different sizes. This particular one is a 1/2 ounce. This is probably my favorite. You can get a 3/4 ounce. You can drop down these tail shakers and, you know, get 1/4 ounce, 1/8 ounce. And the reason you want the different size baits, there's different styles of fishing with it. You can either throw it out there and drag it real slow. You can throw it out there and reel it across the bottom. And when you're doing that, you want something heavier that's going to stay down when you're reeling it. You know, if you're throwing a 1/4 ounce head in 15 foot of water, you can't reel it because it's going to come off the bottom. You need a heavier head to keep it on the bottom. So you get a school of fish going, you catch a few of them, you're dragging it through there, which is what I do. They quit biting, you can throw that bait out there, like this 1/2 ounce I throw a lot. I had one spot that was actually in a tournament one time. We caught them pretty good, caught several fish, decent ones, and they just quit biting. I know there's still fish down there, I can see them on my live scope. Throw it out there and I start reeling it through there. Steady retrieve, reeling it, it's like 7 foot of water, 1/2 ounce head, and immediately, the first 2 casts I made reeling it, I caught a 4-pounder and a 5-pounder and we won that tournament. I'm just telling you right now, this bait has won me more money in the past 5 years since I've been throwing it than all other baits combined. It changed the way I fish. I am more confident now fishing offshore. I mean, I still do my shallow deal. I'll throw this in 2 foot of water because they eat this right here. I mean, I don't know, there's just something about it. They eat it. And whether anybody else likes it or not, that is the favorite bait in my boat. Uh-oh. Oh yeah. Golly. boy, that's a good one there. Come here, baby. Easy. Oh yeah. Look at that right there, boys. Look how fat that fish is. That is by far now my favorite bait. That's on the deck of my boat all the time. Whether it's a 1/2 ounce, 1/4 ounce, 1/8 ounce, 3/4 ounce, just depends on how deep the fish are. A little more splash.
To add the Secret Lures lead shaker to your tackle box, head on over to secretlures.com.